This video is brought to you by the FARMER-KLEIN YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at NeverLand. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chris Miller and Comp Gamer. Thank you for being farm barons. So NeverLand can be found over at moddingwealth.com. There will be a link down in the description below. Given the fact that this is available over at Modding Wealth and not on the Giants Mod Hub, that means that this map is currently available for PC only. Let me read you a little bit of the description. It says, "Hello everyone, I'm happy to introduce you to my NeverLand map. What is here? There are 22 fields, 3 forests, lots of free places to build on, lots of meadows, 6 points of sale, 50 buyable spaces, 2 village, 2 gas stations, lots of decorations, and a very large starting fleet." Let's go ahead and load on in. I will say that regardless of what game mode you play this map on, there is no farm. None whatsoever. So you will be building out your own farm regardless of play mode. So why not start with Farm Manager so that you have the full $1.5 million? Here we go. Let's load on in. Or $1.25 million, I should say. Here we are. This is your starting farm, everybody. Starting farm tour is over. Like I said, you start up with absolutely no farm built out. Now, if you don't like this particular location, that is fine because there are multiple other locations that you could put down in order to basically have your farm. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. We'll scroll on out. We'll see that we start out owning this section here, which is the current barren land. It is 14.4 acres in size, $350,000. We have a grass field just north of that for $312,000, 12.87 acres. And then field 2 is 13.69 acres, $332,000. Field 17 is $933,000 at 38 acres. And field 14 is $914,000 at 37 acres in size. As far as other building areas go, we have a multitude of them. We have one down here for $226,000, $96,000, $77,000. One of these is a build. I think that's this one, $83,000, $160,000, $129,000, $184,000, $192,000. This one includes field 6 at $893,000 and $186,000. And quite frankly, there may be a couple more that I am missing. This map includes all of the standard crops available to us here on Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at our crop counter, we have the base game crop counter available to us. So we are all fully aware of what to expect with that. If we take a look at our prices screen, we're going to see that we can indeed sell all of the base game crops available to us here in the game, including sugar beet cut. We also have the ability to sell all of the animal outputs. And as far as other things, we can sell total mixed rations, forage, which is incorrectly mixed, total mixed rations, chaff, wood chips, silage. We do not have a sawmill on this map, so there is no way to sell logs from the 3 forests that are listed as being on this map. You will have to place your own sawmill if you do wish to do any forestry. We have sell points for grass, hay, and straw. Then we also have the ability to sell all of the base game products except honey. We do not have the ability to sell honey. And the fact that there is no sawmill available on the map, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point with respect to the metric. Can you sell all of the base game crops, animal production outputs, and game production outputs? We also have multiple buy points for lime and multiple buy points for stone. We take a look at our starting equipment. We start out with a whole fleet load of starting equipment. All of it is brand new, and it is all down at the shop. There are no animals or animal pins at the start. We do have contracts available to us, and this map includes no production chains placed by default, so there is no base game production that we own at the start either. Now, with respect to the base game production, even though there is no base game production built into the map, there is a multitude of places that you could build production. So we're still going to give this a full point on that metric, because that metric goes production built in or have areas set aside for the placement of such. This map meets the or requirement there. This map also meets the can the farms be customized? Well, indeed they can, because they don't exist. So therefore you have full customization. In fact, if you wanted to make this a field, just come on in here with a plow, dig it up, and now you have another field to work with. Now this map does include collectibles. You're going to find collectibles all over the place. They are the Holt Bay of the Rune collectibles. They are the game cartridge collectibles. So you can indeed collect money by picking those up. So that might be something that you will want to do on this particular plot of land before you plow it under, if that is something you should so wish. Now we're going to skip the base farm tour because, well, there isn't a base farm. And we're just going to go ahead and move on to the fly around segment. But like I said, there are collectibles all over the place. So you never know where you just might find them. Let's get a little bit of altitude. The farms, or the fields overall, are fairly flat. I think they may have some subtle rolling hills to them, but they are, for the most part, fairly flat. We have quite the assortment of field shapes and sizes. But overall, most of the fields are fairly large in size. And I think for this particular video, we are going to forego the contemporary or the normal drive around in favor of just hitting all the high points during the flyover. Here we have the grass field that we own at the start, and then field 2 off in the distance on the other side of that tree line is also what we own at the start. As I said, there is a multitude of possible building areas. Here we have one right to the east of field 1. To the south of field 7, we have another. We have another north of field 1, located right there. And then all the way up here to the north, I was incorrect. This is not a buildable zone. This is a sell point. We have one of our grain sell points located up here. Just going to fly through there as opposed to driving around. Then we'll move across the western edge of the map and just take a look across it as we move to the south. Get a little bit of altitude. We are far higher than you would ever be in normal gameplay, so I wouldn't be overly worried about the map edge at this height, because again, we are much, much higher than we typically would be. We come down maybe a little bit lower to a height that probably is a bit more respectable to kind of a third-person play. Then you're going to see that overall, the map edge is fairly well hidden between a barrier of trees and a rock wall. Here we are traversing field 20, which is 40.42 acres in size. Coming down here to another grain sell point. We'll go ahead and drive right on through the dump zone, or fly through the dump zone. a little bit of altitude. And back up here on the main road, we have yet another buildable area. So this map, really, you don't have to start over by field 2. If you wanted, you could start down here and sell that plot of land if you were in new farmer mode. If you're in farm manager mode, like I said, you could buy a cheaper plot of land to get started, since that area by field 2 is fairly expensive. With respect to our building, new texture technique as well as all the ground textures, yes, they are for the most part, because most of these buildings have come over from Elm Creek. There are a few buildings that have come over from Erlengrot, but overall, most of them are over here from Elm Creek, like Johnson's Farmers Market right here, which is also a sell point. I kind of like this setup. We've got the farmers market, we've got kind of some seating, and a little play area for the kids. Kind of a nice little artistic touch. I do believe we have our animal dealer located right here across the street from Johnson's Farmers Market. So if you do place animal pins, then you'll be able to get your animals or sell animals from there. We have another possible building zone right here, down here close to another grain sell point. And then we have the map border down there with the road tunnel. There we have the drop off for that grain sell point. And then another drop off right around the corner. Between fields 14 and 15, we have yet another building zone. And like I said, if you're not going to use all of these building zones for the purpose of placing down production or building out the map in any other way, definitely you can buy the land, create field, and just plow the concrete under. And then you have yourself basically access to another field. These fields are going to be a little bit smaller than all of the fields that are included in the map, but you could indeed do that if you wished. A nice aesthetic element over here with the Elm Creek Wolves baseball stadium. And just north of that baseball stadium, we have yet another possible building zone where you could place down production. You could place down sell points too if you wanted to at that point, or you could build out a farm. This may be an interesting map to do in a multiplayer. Even though there are only 22 fields on the map, there are plenty of possible areas that you could build out. And maybe you would set up some ground rules that you would have some smaller equipment or something like that. We have just a decorative bowling alley here. That is not a sell point. We have our fuel station, the grocery, which is a sell point. And then right past the grocery, we have yet another possible build zone. And then we have the shop located right here. We're going to go ahead and touch down at the shop. We'll take a look at the shop triggers and then take a look at the base game equipment. So we have our shop trigger located right there, and then our customize, repair, sell, and trade trigger located right here. And as you have probably keenly seen, collectibles all over the place down here at the shop. I did not take a look and try to figure out where all the collectibles are, but I have to say they all seem to be pretty obvious with their locations that we have seen so far. There are many you're going to be able to pick up right here at the shop. So here we have all of our starting equipment all lined up for your use. You know what? You may just buy the plot of land here right next to the shop. Then you don't have too terrible farm to drive all of this stuff to get it out of the shop. But we do have quite a large area for equipment to spawn in at here at the shop. And let's go ahead and do a rundown of that starting equipment. We start out with the JCB Fast Track 4240 and the Massey Ferguson 8S.205. We have the Case Axle Flow 7150 Harvester. It is paired up with the 3050 Terraflex 28 foot grain header. We have the Capello Demont 12 row corn header. We have a pair of Rudolph DK820RL trailers. We have the Elo Scorpio 550 stone picker. We have the Dalbo MaxiCut 600 mulcher. And be very careful about that because we also have the Dalbo Power Roller 1230 HD. Don't get those two mixed up because they have very different uses. We have the Kuverland EcoMat plow, the All-Rounder Flatline 600 cultivator, and Rebel Classic 600T disc harrow. We have the HR 6040 RCS power harrow. We have the ES Pro 6000 RC seeder and TF 1512 grain hopper that goes, or seed hopper that goes on the front of that. We have the Maxima 3-till planter. And then we have the Hardy Mega 12L and 12L front tank fertilize and herbicide sprayer. We have then the Breedile K105 fertilize and lime spreader. Then the Amazon ZATS 3200 fertilize spreader. We have the N6030 header trailer to go with our grain header, and then a pair of weights. So guys, that is it. That is pretty much going to do us for this map. Let's do one more rundown of the scoring system. We have production built in or areas set aside for the placement of such. Yes, indeed, we have lots of areas set aside for the placement of such production. So we're going to give this a full point score in that regard. Does the map include sell points for all included crops, space game production, and animal outputs? And sadly, we're going to have to give this map a 3/4 of a point because we do not have the ability to sell honey without placing our own sell point, and we have to place our own sawmill in order to sell logs from one of the 3 forests included. Can the farms be customized? Totally, because there are no farms. There are multiple building areas for the possible placement of production and or building out farms. So the farms are completely customizable. Therefore, we're going to get a full 1.0 score on that regard. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique. Yes, because they are all, for the most part, from Elm Creek, Erlengrot, or Holt Bed Laroon. And are all the interactive triggers clearly marked and such? I have to say yes, they do seem to be clearly marked, so we're going to give a full point in that regard. So this map is going to get itself a 4.75 out of 5 on our gameplay rating system. And I have to say, overall, it's a pretty interesting map, and I think it's going to really appeal to someone who is maybe intimidated at no man's land because of the fact that there are no farms, there's no fields, there's no sell points. It's just rolling hills and scattered forests. Here we have a bit of structure. We have pre-placed fields. We have pre-placed sell points. And we have areas that you could build a farm out or place production or other things. So this may appeal to a whole class of player that would like to do no man's land, but is a little intimidated. And this would provide them a little bit more structure in order to enjoy their creative gameplay. Let me know what you think down in the description or in the comments below. Is this a map that appeals to you? Are you going to be looking to download and make use of NeverLand, or are you going to say never to NeverLand and move on to something else? And until next time, happy farming.